Hello everybody and welcome to this video on Gwent. We are in closed beta, so fair warning, what you see here, we'll be able to see it's closed beta up there, what you see here might not be what will be the final product, but it's going to give us a fairly good indication as to what we can expect upon its release into open beta and then eventual full release. So, yeah, Gwent, it's the Witcher card game, and it's pretty cool. As you can see, the UI is gorgeous. The design of the menus, you can just kind of flip between them. I think it's designed to work well on a controller, so that's why you can basically just scroll sideways. As you'd imagine, if you had an analog stick or a D-pad button, you could just go from one menu to the next. And if we look at the single player, it looks like there will be some sort of campaign, which is nice. Similar, possibly, to the Elder Scrolls Legends campaign. Story mode that allowed you to unlock a bunch of basic cards at the expense of doing tutorial-style missions that introduce you to a bunch of the game's mechanics, and so on and so forth. There is a tutorial that you play at the start. There's practice mode against the AI, and as you can see here in the multiplayer menu, you've got friend match, leaderboard, ranked, which is locked until level 10, and casual. So let's quickly take a look at the various factions on offer. We've got the neutral faction, which includes just a lot of the mercenary type dudes. So if you look down here, we've got the dragon, we've got Yennefer, we've got all the Geralts, we've got Triss. A lot of memorable characters from the game if you've played it. I would suggest playing it, it's very good. I haven't actually got around to playing the third Witcher. I hear it's pretty awesome though. But since I'm not going to be looking too hard into these different cards to look for spoilers or anything, I think I'm fairly safe playing this. So let's take a look at the other factions. We've got Monster Faction, we've got the Nilfgaardians, we've got the Northern Realms, we've got the Scoia'tael, and we've got the Skellige. Now, each faction has a leader that you can choose from. So if we take a look at the, say, Northern Realms faction, the leader that you start off with in this beta, this closed beta, is Foltest, who allows you to copy and play on the battlefield a non-spying bronze unit. And you can see that each card is separated into either being a bronze card, such as, say, this, the Trebuchet, a silver card, such as Reinforcement, or a gold card, such as all the leaders, or the memorable characters from the games. So you've got Triss with a different spell, you've got Kira, you've got Vernon Roach, a lot of characters you might recognise if you've played the games. So, in addition to that, there is also a faction ability specific to each faction. So if we hop into a deck, say again the Northern Realms, you'll be able to see that the faction ability is... where does it say this? Where does it say this? Here we go. Northern Realms. Add 2 strength to each gold unit when it appears on your side of the battlefield. So this means that, as you can see here, you can play up to a maximum of 4 gold units in your deck, and one of them being Geralt, who's just a very high power card, gold card with a very slick animation. The animations in this game are pretty awesome, as you can see there, murdering various monsters. We've also got Villain Trettenmirth, I think that's how you pronounce it. One of the dragon, I think the dragon from Witcher 2 at the end there, and Yennefer the Conjurer. So I could possibly play another gold card if I had another one to play, but I don't. But in addition to these, I've got silver cards and bronze cards. The bronze cards naturally having a strong affinity with Foltest's unique leader ability, which you can use one time in a best of 3 match. That is the format this game uses. And yeah, as you can see, there is a melee row, and there is a ranged row and a siege row. Different cards can be played in each of these rows. Some cards can be played in either. Some cards can be traitor cards that can be played on the opponent's side of the battlefield, such as good old Sabrina here. Very flavorful if you've played the second Witcher. You can play this on your opponent's side of the battlefield, and when you destroy it, or when they destroy it even, it does 3 strength damage to all creatures that aren't gold cards on their side. And this is something that is unique to gold cards. A lot of spell effects and weather effects do not affect these gold cards. They are essentially elite units that are exceptionally powerful, and some decks in the game try to buff their cards into gold cards in order to make them better. So I guess we'll hop into a match to show you the basic mechanics of this game and how the format works in a multiplayer match. Surprisingly, there seems to be a lot of people playing the closed beta, but I did hear something about 20,000 keys being issued something like last month in February, so I guess that's not too surprising. That is cool.
Attack!
So as you can see, fully voice acted, just as you would expect from the Witcher games. Everything sounds amazing, the characters sound very cool. So here, as in most card games, you get to choose a mulligan phase, which cards you want to keep in your starting hand. So here we want to keep these big gold cards because they're good. Sabrina is quite tricksy, so I guess we can keep her. These are immune to weather effects. Weather effects are basically AoE spells in this game, where you can nerf all the cards in a specific row down to 1 strength. So here we've got some just strong cards, those being immune to weather, that's quite good. Reaver Hunter summons another Reaver Hunter from your deck after 2 turns. 1 copy of that seems good. So this seems like a fairly strong hand. I guess for variety, let's get rid of one of those. So we've got Geralt, fantastic. And we'll get rid of one of those as well. Oh, damn, we found another Reaver Hunter. So that sucks. We'll get rid of the other one. So, on my turn, I can choose to play any card in my hand. There's no mana to worry about. It's all about resources, and this is something that is so cool in this game. So I'm going to try and play strong, start off with a power play. So there you go, you see my faction ability, I played a gold card, and with my faction ability, it says it here, add 2 strength to each gold unit when it appears, so that was 7 strength, and now it's 9, because, you know, I'm playing Northern Realms, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, given that you've got no mana to worry about, this is a very unique take on the... He thought that would kill my unit, but it did not. It only targets non-gold units, and this being a non-gold unit, this being a gold unit, sorry, I was perfectly safe, so sucks to be him, unfortunately. So let's have a look. We can probably secure this game if we play either Geralt or Yennefer, these being both very strong cards, very high strength, or with very powerful abilities. Yennefer removing 1 strength at the start of every turn. That often, I find, does up to 5 damage or more in a game. So that's pretty cool, but we can play a middle ground, kind of play and play that if we want to. But I guess I'll play Yennefer. So, as I was saying,
I sense trouble.
This is purely a battle of resources, as you kind of want to win with enough resources, just enough, so that your opponent is forced to contest you, and then maybe they give up, and then you have enough resources to outvalue them in a final round to win and take the match. So as you can see here, there is the crown. This is a best of 3 format, so essentially with each round win you get, you fill up half of your crown. So potentially I could win this round, win the first round, he could win the second round, and I could win the third, or he could. So here we're still in the lead, we've got more strength than he does. This is the aim of the game, have more strength than your opponent. So I can do something like play Reaver Hunter, who after 2 turns will summon another Reaver Hunter from my deck, which is why in the mulligan phase I didn't want to have 2 copies of Reaver Hunter, as I only have 2 copies in my deck in my opening hand. So there, the countdowns are going down. That's that was a misplay. That killed my own creature. Unfortunate, that is. That is very unfortunate. So, I guess we'll have to play Geralt to secure this win. And you can see how powerful gold creatures are. They're so above the curve. And with my Northern Realms specific ability, my gold creatures are just so much more powerful than his. So he'll probably have to give up this round. Unless he has just another 2 gold creatures in his opening hand. That would be absolutely insane. Okay. And you can see the power of Yennefer the Conjurer there, just doing damage to all of these. That's pretty nuts. So, what else should we play? Possibly this. Okay, let's try and play that. So this is a spy card, or a disloyal card, which can be played on your opponent's side of the battlefield, in whatever row you really want. And this means that this disloyal card often has a negative effect when triggered for your opponent, or a really positive effect for you when it's triggered. So it gives my opponent 1 strength in total, but eventually it will probably get popped and do 3 damage to all of his creatures. So what else can we do here? I think I'll play my Temerin Foot Soldiers. So this again has this muster type effect where when you play 1 copy, it summons all of the other copies into your hand, which is pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. So there we go, we win that round, so we pass, we've got more strength than he does. So that's the first round won for us. So that's pretty sick. A good start. So there, every creature dies at the start of each round, but the monster unique ability is that, if I can find it, there we go. At the end of each round, keep the last loyal, non-gold, non-fleeting, non-resilient creature that they played. So he played basically his leader ability, which is play this big creature, and then when all the creatures died, my Sabrina blew up and did 3 damage to it. So that's pretty cool. That is quite cool. So I'll start off with quite a strong creature, this Dun Banner-like cavalry. Ah, that sucks. I was going to try and copy that with Foltest's leader ability, but unfortunately we did not get it to trigger. That sucks for us. I'll play the prize-winning cow. A bit of a funny card. Basically, this secures extra power if it doesn't die this turn for your next round. Unfortunately, he has a way of popping it, so I get the Chort, which is a really powerful creature. When the cow dies, that gets summoned this turn, which kind of sucks. I would have preferred to have that happen next round, but oh well. So what else can I do? I can buff that up, potentially. I think I'll try and buff this up. So there we go. Hopefully we can just use all of our cards to out-pressure him. So here you go. This gold card has a very powerful, unique effect. Return to your hand if you lose the round. Very powerful. So here.
Uh-oh, trouble approaches.
So here, we want to buff these cards as big as possible before we use Foltest's copy ability. That just makes good sense. So now we can copy this and gain 11 strength. So we're basically committed to winning this round. We've spent already a ton of resources, and it looks like he might have more than enough gas to beat us, unfortunately. So we'll just continue playing our cards. These would have to be very dead cards for us not to lose this round. So we're probably going to lose the game as a result, which does suck. So that's going to be buffed up into a 7 power creature. 7 strength creature. Remove 3 strength, so I guess it doesn't matter too much what we want to remove. So I guess I'll just remove that. These would need to be very small creatures indeed, or useless spells, for him not to win this round and probably win the game, so that does suck. Ooh, okay. So as you can see, when you have no cards in hand to play, the turn is automatically passed to your opponent. A very close game that was. That was a very close game. 53 to 54 strength. So with his faction ability, this sticks around for next round. And yeah, as you can see, he starts off with lots of strength already on the board. And 2 cards as well. You might be wondering how you draw cards. Basically, at the start of round 2, you draw 2 cards, and at the start of round 3, you draw only 1. But here you can see I've obviously lost the round, and therefore lost the game. So I automatically pass the turn to him, and he wins this match. So yeah. As a result, he has more strength on the field, and I am forced to GG out. Mr. Swag Salad beats us this time. So as you can see, there is quite a lot of mechanisms for giving you rewards in this game. There seems to be this daily quest counter, where with each kind of milestone that you reach with how many rounds you win, it gives you some minor reward, and the ore in this game, I will show you in the shop, is basically the gold currency, how you purchase packs from the shop yourself. So here you can see I've got 70 ore at the moment. If we take a look at the shop, we will be able to see
for humans of all walks.
that is the friendly troll in the shop. And as you can see, 1 keg or 1 card pack costs 100 ore. And the other resource that you have is scrap. This is how you craft individual cards. So if we take a look into this particular neutral, or this is just the ore faction screen, if we take a look at this card, this would cost me 80 scrap to craft. It's a very simple system. And very similar to most card games at the moment coming out on PC. I'll switch to a new deck. Actually, I'll stick with this deck as we've basically covered a lot of the mechanics. It'll be easier to understand. But yeah, essentially this card game is all about resource management. Unlike other card games, you aren't punching your opponent's face.
Close ranks!
You aren't trying to kill them before they kill you,
Catch those vermin!
or survive long enough to win in the late game or anything like that. It's much more about figuring out which turns you can afford to invest into with cards and building up your strength on the board, and which turns you're going to have to give up because your opponent has invested a lot of their strength into it. It's very interesting to play. So, as I said before, we don't want 2 copies of Reaver Hunter, because this summons the second copy anyway from our deck. So this is essentially, after 2 turns, 10 strength for 1 card. Very powerful. I'm sure you will agree. Same with Temerian Foot Soldier. This musters all of the other copies of this card from our deck when we play it, so we don't want any other Temerian Foot Soldiers either. So this is an okay hand. It's not particularly amazing. I'll get rid of that for a bit of variety. I'll also get rid of this, I think. Oh, I'll get rid of that. Yeah. It was a bit of a rushed mulligan, but that is what it is. So I'll start off strong, play Geralt. And with our faction ability, as I mentioned, it gives our gold cards a bit of a boost, which is very nice. So, with his faction leader ability of copying a bronze unit, we can actually expect that he will want to copy this twice. So, he will have 2 8s on the board, which is naturally quite powerful. So to counteract that, I'm going to play this creature that allows me to hit that and do strength damage, essentially busting it down to a lower strength cost. That is unfortunate. Now that we've played our damage source on the field, we don't have any other way of doing damage on his side of the battlefield. Unfortunately, this means he will get the Chort, the 9 power creature, next turn, as this cow will die at the end of this round and summon the Chort, which is definitely unfortunate for us.
Don't recognize your old mates.
So here, we're going to play this now so that we can summon the second Reaver Hunter from our deck. Unfortunately, we did draw into 2 copies of Temerian Foot Soldier, so when we play 1, we will only summon 1 other copy, as you can have at maximum 3 copies, and 2 of those copies are in our hand, which sucks.
You so, you idiot.
And you can hear the production quality on show here. The voice acting is so class. The accents from the Witcher universe, the Witcher world, they're so, I don't want to say unique, but they're so flavorful. It's really fantastic. I do enjoy listening to the cards as you play them. It's a very cool, very cool.
I don't want to die.
I don't want to die. It's so cool. It's it just screams high production quality, which some card games coming out don't really have. So here you can see we've clearly won this round. And to some extent we've actually over-invested into this win, as we've got so much more strength on our side of the board than he does. So he will actually have a bit of a card advantage going into the next round. So he's got 7 cards and we've got 6, which is kind of unfortunate, but oh well. So there's nothing else we can do. We can't play any sticky creature that will survive into the next round, unlike his cow. So we will pass the turn and win this round. There we go, starting round 2. So his cow dies and he summons the 9-powered short, unfortunately. But we have drawn into some fairly high power things, so I'm not feeling too bad about this. I'll start with Redanian Knight. It's a fairly powerful creature. Chances are I'll be able to use my ability to copy it next turn.
Damn it.
As it is a bronze creature. He has played Geralt. That is unfortunate. I have to say that I'm quite tempted to just give up this round for lost. He's invested already Geralt, which, given that he's playing Northern Realms, he has the same ability that we do, the same passive ongoing ability. So I am quite tempted to forfeit this round in order to have a better chance at winning the next one. So I'm going to do that. There we go. Hopefully he plays something else. That would be like the obvious beginner misplay, but he doesn't do it. He's clearly played this game a bit. So, final round. We each draw 1 card. We both still have our faction leader abilities available.
Tell me you jest.
Ooh, that is a good card. It resurrects one of his dead creatures from his graveyard, which, as you can see, that one was basically the best card for him to resurrect. It's not an RNG-based mechanic, you might be wondering. It's well, actually, this particular card is, but other resurrect mechanics in the game do allow you to choose which card you can resurrect, which is particularly nice.
Long live, etc., etc.
Long live,
But we're
etc.,
broke as shit
etc.
peddlers.
Long live, etc., etc.
Wow, he has got all the combos. Wow, we are in a tricky situation here, I'll tell you
Close
what.
ranks.
You know what, I just realised I misplayed. I should have buffed that twice with these 2 blue striped scouts in order to then copy a bigger creature.
Not humans.
And yeah, so he's going for that same strategy. So we're probably just going to lose this from that misplay. So that does suck. But we can play around that to some extent by hitting that with 3 damage, getting rid of almost all of this buff, and reducing the effectiveness of his ability to copy that creature. Unless, of course, he has another copy of Blue Striped Scout. Interesting. So, I guess
Salutations.
I will buff those 2 up. This card adding 3 strength to my siege row and then buffing by 3 strength 2 non-gold units on my side of the battlefield. So there you go. My 2 Redanian Knights, already quite big creatures with 8 strength naturally, get even bigger. So that's quite
Told
cool.
you so, you idiot.
So he is going to play an instance of a card from his deck. Very powerful. If he has multiple copies of these cards in his deck, he does, it seems like, so that sucks. So he's going to be able to copy that and get a lot of power eventually, which is unfortunate. We've got no choice at this point but to commit very heavily, as this is the final round. As you can see, whoever wins this round wins the game. Ah, unfortunate. So at this point we've got
Aye,
very
aye,
little
sir.
choice but to just play everything from hand. These are quite powerful cards, to be fair. They're basically 8 strength, being 4 strength originally and giving 4 strength to another creature. That's obviously quite powerful. So I'll buff that up to an 11 strength creature. But we're quite clearly very far behind. He still hasn't used his ability, so he can copy that to make an additional 12 strength on his side of the field. So yeah, we're probably going to lose this one.
More important than this.
Seal de Tanserville. What a character.
Regroup.
Yes, we'll probably just pass the next turn as we've quite clearly lost at this point.
Close ranks!
I don't understand why you would copy that one, but I guess he's already basically won, so I'll give him this one. Ugh. I'll switch to a slightly better deck next game, as this deck is kind of without any synergy. I don't really have many cards for them, for the Northern Realms, so let's switch to another deck. Get rid of all that. XP, fantastic. So, Kraken Crate. I guess I'll quickly show you what Kraken Crate does. This is a deck that has a lot of synergy, and basically, the ability they have is to spawn 2 Clan and Crate warriors. These are 9 strength creatures that essentially nerf themselves down to 7 strength. But when you combine that with a particular card called Warcry that doubles the strength of weakened creatures, you can get very big, whatever these are called, warriors in your melee row. And when you play more warriors in your deck, such as these guys, which I do, as you can see, 2 copies of them there, it makes for some very swingy combo turns. So yeah, that's pretty fantastic. I might try and find room for Villain Trettenmirth. What should I ditch? I will ditch... yeah, there we go. I'll add that to the deck. That seems like just a good card to use. And we will play one more match, just to give you an idea of what Gwent is all about. Hopefully I can actually win one match. It would be quite embarrassing if I did a video on Gwent and all 3 matches were losses. But I guess it's entirely possible. Okay, mirror match.
You've got the heart of an uncrate.
Of an uncrate. So, obviously we want the combo of Warriors plus Warcry. 2 copies of Warcry probably isn't particularly great. So, there's a Warrior, that's fantastic. Geralt and Yennefer, very powerful gold cards. So these 3 cards we want to keep. Longship is just good, immune to weather, 7 strength. I will ditch 1 Warcry. Oh, we've got a second First Light. So I'll ditch the second First Light. There we go, we've got a Skirmisher. That's quite good. I think I'll get rid of the Shieldsmith. Okay, so we've got a nice variety of cards in our hand. We've got some gold cards, very high power. We've got some combo pieces, such as the Warrior plus our leader ability, as well as Warcry, of course. And other synergies that this deck has. You can resurrect creatures that have died, and some creatures, such as, this Clan Tursik Skirmisher.
Stand before the Queen of Skellige.
When resurrected, this gains 3 strength, and this is kind of terrifying. But we did get 3, for free 12 strength, so I'm not complaining too much.
Not your lucky day.
Hopefully we can just win this round outright. That would be pretty sick. Two big gold cards already in play. So yeah, it looks like he's just going to give up on this round, which is fine. So I guess I'll play one more thing just to convince him to continue doing that. It doesn't matter if this dies. I mean, really, we want this to die. Hopefully he passes this turn. So I guess I'll show you... Oh, okay. Draw one card, discard one card. So a lot of discard mechanics on show for the Skellig faction. These purple guys and ships. And yeah, a lot of their cards also have synergy, as well as with resurrection effects and injured effects such as that and this. They also have synergy with discard mechanics. So I don't really want to play Yennefer. That seems like an overcommitment of resources. And as I mentioned, this card, the cow, basically secures 9 free strength for their next round. So if you can kill it on this round before it dies and everyone passes into the next round, then that's definitely advantageous for you. So when you discard a card, it goes into your graveyard, so by discarding cards, he is able to later resurrect them, despite me not having directly killed any of his cards. So that's very powerful synergy there. So it looks like quite an aggressive opening for both of us. As you can see, he's decided to pass finally, so despite his card advantage, we do have our combo of injured creatures plus Warcry, so I'm kind of happy with that. We can resurrect this creature next round as well, if we want to, so that's nice. And we also still have a powerful gold card with Yennefer, the Conjurer, so I think we're in a pretty decent spot. I'll pass the round, win this round, and hopefully win the next one. So we both draw 2 cards. Ooh, very nice draw indeed. And here you can see another synergy. This card gets buffed whenever you deal damage to opposing units. And in my hand I have one creature or one spell that allows me to deal damage to a lot of creatures on the opposing side. So this will probably get buffed to a very big degree, which is very nice. So I'm going to play Yennefer as soon as possible. As you can see at the start of your turn, remove 1 strength from the strongest opposing non-god unit. So naturally, you want to play this as soon as possible in the start of a round.
You best yield now.
As that way, it will have the most time to do the most strength damage. And this will probably end up doing upwards of 6 strength damage in total. So it's 5 strength plus minus 6 strength for your opponent. Very powerful. So here you can see he's choosing what card he wants to discard.
Praise be the bravest.
Okay, so what do we want to play now? Really, we want to play this as soon as possible, as we want this effect to trigger before we start playing our big creatures. As you saw the previous game, we actually destroyed one of our big creatures when we played this, and the opponent didn't have bigger creatures than we had. So I think I'll play this now. It might end up biting us in the ass, but I feel like this is the best way to use this. And after all, it doesn't hurt gold cards, so Yennefer is perfectly safe, and he can't hurt himself, which is nice. So here he can choose to resurrect that creature, which gets buffed when it's resurrected, which personally I would go for, probably. Oh, that wasn't a resurrection. What was it? Add 3 base strength. Oh, that's cool. That's quite a cool effect, actually. Okay. So currently, Villain Trettenmirth will kill these 2 creatures when it triggers, so we kind of want that to happen. And we don't want to play anything too big either. We've put ourselves in a bit of a sticky spot, that is for sure. Let's see what we get off of Rally. That is okay. What can we do damage to? Interesting. I guess we resummon this back. Unfortunately though, it will end up dying, as Velentretenmirth will just kill it. It's quite possible that this card is just bad in this deck.
But she brooks no insult.
As this deck really does want to... Ooh! Okay, so Velentretenmirth will kill that for us, which is very nice. So what do we do? We can resummon that again though, so I guess we don't want to do that just yet either. Okay. We'll play the Axeman in the interest of eventually playing Lacerate and buffing him up a whole bunch. So hopefully he has something bigger than this to play, but chances are he wouldn't play that to play around this effect, so it looks like this and this will both end up dying when this effect triggers. And can everyone take a moment to appreciate the artwork on show here? Look at that dragon. That is such a cool dragon. I really appreciate that. So he's going to kill both of these, which sucks, but we can resurrect that with our Priestess of Freya. So let's do that then, shall we? That seems like a pretty good idea.
Bow before modern Freya.
So this will become a 13 strength creature. Very powerful. Very powerful indeed.
Nothing like some overseas plundering in springtime.
There we go. We might have to lacerate this row next turn to play around his own Warcry. That might be necessary. But I think we're doing fairly well, actually. And by this point, you've seen how powerful Yennefer is. She's been pinging away at her opponent's creatures, just continually at the start of every turn, which is pretty insane. Pretty insane. So yeah, I think I'm just going to do that this turn. That seems fairly strong. This should play around his own win condition of Warcry, if he is running that. And you can see this gets buffed up a bunch, because I did so much damage to all of these. So we're playing around his win condition, playing towards our own. It's, yeah, as you can see, very few cards are left for us. Okay, so he's passed this round quite clearly. He doesn't feel he can win. I guess I'll show you the eventual combo that I would work towards. So here I would then play my leader ability. I'll get this done very quickly so we're not BMing him too hard. And then Warcry, which buffs them all up because they're injured to a massive degree. And you can see 96 strength versus 12. That's fairly insane. So as you can see, this deck is quite a bit better than the Northern Realms deck that I was trying earlier. But it's, yeah, it's very fun. So hopefully you got a good idea of how Gwent works. It's very strange to look at it when you're not playing it yourself, but the mechanics are very interesting. It's a resource battle. It's you trying to bluff your opponent into them investing a lot of strength on one round so that you have a better chance of winning a future round. Very cool stuff. It's very different. The production quality is fantastic. Like, if I go and take a look at just my card collection, flipping from faction to faction, it's very easy. And you've got filters, you can look at rarities, you can go look at different types of cards, melee cards, event cards, or spells as they're called. Different rarities, which is pretty standard, premium cards or not. And yeah, it looks very cool, and I'll definitely continue to do some gameplay videos. The closed beta at the moment you can sign up for. I don't know when the next round of keys is going to be sent out. But yeah, Gwent boys, it looks pretty cool. As always guys, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more Gwent or any other card game really, feel free to drop me a message, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta!